That's good. It's
No
really
problem.
loud.
Okay. Om Jnanatimandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes with the shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances to his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. Entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, text 34, which is the last verse of the chapter and a very important verse. So we've been reading this. I think this is our third week on this verse. So we'll read the Sanskrit once again, the translation, and then we'll continue the purport. We've just read the first paragraph, so we'll start off from the second paragraph. Manmana bhava madbhakto
Manmana bhava madbhakto
mam yaji mam namaskuru
Amyaji mam namaskuru
Amavasyasi yuktvaivam
Amyasvesti yuktaivam
Atmanam Matparayana.
Atmanam matparayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisance to me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. Guarantee.
Yeah. This is Krishna's guarantee to go back to Godhead if we do these four things. So this is the nuts and bolts of Krishna consciousness. If someone asks, well, what does it mean to be Krishna conscious? This is it. This is like the nuts and bolts of what it means to be a devotee, what it means to be Krishna conscious, to always be thinking of Krishna. And the best way to do that, of course, is to chant Hare Krishna. So to be a Krishna conscious person, we should be chanting Hare Krishna and always thinking about Krishna by doing that. And then to be devoted to Krishna. If we're Krishna conscious, we should naturally become a devotee of Krishna. I was hearing Prabhupada say today in a class, to be Krishna conscious means to be conscious that Krishna is the supreme Lord. He's the God, he's the master, and we're his servant. So to be Krishna conscious, we realize that we're Krishna's servant. He's our Lord and master, we're his servant. And then so that means we become a devotee. So we devote ourselves. And that's love. Someone loves their partner, their husband and wife, their parents, their kids. We love the dog, the pets, so we love so many things. But Krishna here is saying, well, love me, love me. Krishna is actually the central person. He's the most important person in our life. It doesn't mean, of course, that we can't love our kids and our parents and partners and so forth, our pets. But Krishna should be the central point of love because he's giving us everything. Everything comes from him. So we should love him the most, like that. And then to worship Krishna, and then to bow down to Krishna. So these four things is what it means to be Krishna conscious. And if we're Krishna conscious, then Krishna says, I guarantee you can come and live with me forever in the spiritual world. You can come back to Godhead like that. And so this is saying here, being completely absorbed in me, surely you'll come to me. So that's yuktva, means absorbed in the word for word. So if we do these four things, the idea is we'll become absorbed in Krishna. And it's interesting, I was talking to one of the devotees that came here with the Maharaj. He said that he had noticed that he was finding when he would just be so absorbed in hearing and chanting about Krishna, he wasn't affected so much by all the miseries and difficulties of life. Because there's a lot of miseries in the material world, right? And Krishna says that it's a temporary place of miseries. But the beauty of Krishna consciousness is, if you become absorbed in Krishna by doing these four things, then you're not so aware of all the miseries. And actually, I was hearing Prabhupada say in a lecture that for a pure devotee, the material world is a happy place. Although Krishna says, we read that verse in the 8th chapter, I think it's text 14 or 15, Krishna says it's a temporary place of miseries. But yeah, if you're always absorbed in thinking of Krishna, then you're oblivious. You become unaware of all those miseries. And other people are really suffering, but the devotee's happy because he's not thinking about all these external things. He's thinking about Krishna and his relationship with Krishna and the pastimes of Krishna. And he's thinking about he's going to go and live with Krishna in the spiritual world. And that way it becomes a very happy life, not a miserable life. But yeah, without Krishna consciousness, yeah, it's definitely a place of miseries. So that's the idea. We do these four things, we can become absorbed in Krishna, and then the rest of this life until we die can be relatively happy because we're absorbed in Krishna. And then at the end, we can go back to Godhead. So I mean, I don't know what kind of better life you can have than that, isn't it? Through Krishna consciousness, we can be happy in this life, and then after this life, well, you hit the jackpot. You go back home, back to Godhead forever. No more birth, death, old age, and disease. I mean, that's a good deal, isn't it? I reckon, because it's not too hard, these four things, is it? Nothing here, as Chris is asking, is too hard to do. What do you think?
I see that there's lots of miseries, but I worry more about people who say that they're happy here, that they don't go back, or they're not worried about doing anything in this lifetime because, that they just do as much as they can and not worry about it because hopefully they'll just get a better birth, but not knowing that they're going to come back in Kali Yuga and it's going to be worse. I worry about that.
Well, you mean you're worrying about other people that are not Krishna conscious?
Well, even some people that are, that I know.
Or even some people that are Krishna conscious, you worry about them?
Yeah.
Because of what?
Like, it seems like I'm more depressive because I'm always saying I want to get out of here because there's so many miseries in this world, and other people are saying, oh, it's not that bad here. And you go, we're grateful for what you've got. And it's like, well, yeah, I am, but at the same time, I want to get out of here.
Yes.
People are just enjoying it.
Because they believe there's only one life.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, when I said that if you're absorbed in Krishna, you become happy. See, but where's the happiness coming from? It's from that always being absorbed in Krishna. However, if a so-called devotee is happy because their health is good, or they've got a lot of money, or they've got a nice family and a good house and job and everything, yeah, that's Maya. That's actually, that kind of happiness is actually Maya. And that's deluding us to think that, oh, the world's not a bad place and I can just stay here and be some kind of Hare Krishna. So that's not what we're talking about when we say that a devotee can be happy in the material world.
Yeah.
That happiness is ideally what we're talking about, is coming from that relationship with Krishna, that you're so absorbed in Krishna that you're oblivious of all the miseries.
Yeah.
However, if see what happens with a devotee, like I've said before, is you can have quite a good life, possibly, because you stop performing sinful activities. So no more meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. And what can often happen is that creates some like good karma, and good karma creates happiness and like that. But we don't want to just try to live off that, because that's not going to last. And also, even if you do get happiness from good karma, that doesn't stop you from becoming old. That doesn't stop you from getting disease, and it doesn't stop you from dying. You can have as much good karma as you want, but you still have to die. So that's not very good to be just living off your good karma. That's going to end at some point, and that's going to be pretty tragic if you don't become very serious about your Krishna consciousness, and you just be like a fringe Hare Krishna, but you don't really do much. and not very serious about going back to Godhead, then yeah, that's a very dangerous situation. So I can understand, Bhakti Mala, you feel sorry for people like that, because yeah, that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
And I've been going to these bhakti rickshaw classes in Newcastle, and to be honest, I think it's being detrimental to my Krishna consciousness, because I'm hearing all these people say all these things, and
Yeah.
it's really disturbing me, because no one's correcting anybody about the real philosophy behind what they're saying, and it's putting all these strange ideas into my head and making me really irritable. So I think that's where I've been coming from the couple of weeks, because
Bhakti Mala, you're saying a lot of really interesting things this session. It's like, because also I've heard some other things from other devotees giving talks, and I was thinking exactly the same thing. This is not actually our philosophy, what some so-called devotees are presenting to others, and I think this is quite misleading. And what I realize is, see, the way I started out was I started out in Brahmachari ashram, and we had like strict training in the same way that Prabhupada, gave that training when he was physically present. And we were told we had to read Prabhupada's books at least 2 hours every day and listen to lectures, and we'd be distributing books. Our whole life was centered around Prabhupada's books, reading the books and distributing the books. And people would, when we give them the books, would say, "What's in the book?" So you had to read the book. Otherwise, what are you going to say if you haven't? Oh, so I don't read the book. I just distribute it. It's not going to be very good. So, we were reading a lot and listening to Prabhupada's lectures. But what I realized, like a lot of devotees these days, they didn't start out young as a brahmachari. So they've always been living at home and just hearing a few things here and there. And they probably have all the books on their shelf at home, but they don't read them. And they hear some lectures from sannyasis or whatever, and but they don't have that intense program
there was
here.
One devotee, he bought a whole Bhagavatam set at the New Gokula. And like after a few months passed and all that, he said, I don't know who was that, and they asked that you start reading. He said, "Oh no, I didn't open it." He said, "Oh, well, you bought it." He said, "Oh, because it's gonna get dusty, that's why."
Wow. Because it's going to get dusty. It's going to get rid of it.
He paid $200 for the whole Bhagavatam set, but he didn't open it. He said, because it's going to get dusty.
Yeah.
I said,
well, it's going to get dusty. Okay. Oh, he's not going to open it because it'll get dusty if he opens it. That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
What do I have to say?
So yeah, it's a sad situation, because we can see how slowly some of the movement is like going off track. We're not kept, chased to Prabhupada's teachings. It's very important. Prabhupada said so many times, don't change things 1 inch from the way I'm teaching, because it'll all end up in complete chaos like that. So yeah, it's a bit he said that too, where Jayanti just said, he said that about the Westerners, that we have what he called the change disease, that we like to change things. And that's definitely a tendency we have. And you can also relate that to what we call mental speculation, that we just change things in our mind, and that's because if you repeat the same thing as what everyone else said, then who's going to recognize you, isn't it? Who's going to recognize, oh, Gulshan's special. All Gulshan says is the same thing as everyone else. But if Gulshan says something different, well, wow, Gulshan said something I never heard before. Wow, that's amazing. So in that way you can get recognized, but then you're not connected with Krishna anymore if you change it. Then it's just your words.
Yeah.
It's not Krishna's. Then there's no Shakti, no power anymore, because you're not repeating Krishna's words. It's just your stupid, mental speculation words. And then there's no Shakti. And it sounds good. It might sound good, and it might, attract a lot of people, that, wow, this guy says something unique. I've never heard this before. This is exciting, but it's got no real power, and people are not going to become Krishna conscious and go back to Godhead. They might get some temporary enjoyment from that. But I noticed that sort of happening And it's a bit disturbing because that's actually not what Prabhupada wanted. You know, we need some proper training. Actually, before we speak, and especially before we write, Prabhupada was saying, you know, you shouldn't write a book on Krishna conscious philosophy unless you're, you know, really learned in the philosophy and everything. So especially writing, but even speaking, you don't want to mislead people. Prabhupada criticized so much these bogus gurus that just, you know, present all this speculative knowledge and you know, mislead people. But even in ISKCON, that can still happen if people don't have the proper training. You know, they've never been a brahmachari, they're just a grihasta. And not there's anything wrong with grihastas, I'm a grihasta, but needs some proper training at some point, and then reading the books sincerely and everything like that. Otherwise, you know, how are you going to know what to say? And you're just going to make things up as you go along. And if someone asks me a question and I can't remember hearing anything about it from Prabhupada's books or, you know, his lectures or whatever, I'll just say I don't know. But what other people will do if they get asked something and they don't know, they'll just make something up. But that's no, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't be making anything up. If I don't know 100% what the truth is about the subject, I'll just say I don't know. I can't say any more because I don't know any more than that. I've told you everything I've heard, and then more than that I can't say. You know, and that's what should be done. That's the way to do it. And but other people, they'll just wing it, you know, and just create all these sort of fairy tales. But that's not good for our movement.
That's very common in Indian. If you ask someone in India, I want to go such and such road, even if he doesn't know, he'll tell. Yeah, it's very common in India.
Turn left. Yeah, it's definitely down there left, and you go there, there's nothing there.
That's nothing. Yeah, that's right. That's the Indian thing there. But the Westerners, if they don't know, say I don't know. But the Indian, they don't understand. I don't know. They definitely will tell you something.
Johnny said that's a good example, Gulshan.
Yes, because I'm Indian.
She's probably experienced it too. Yeah. Johnny said it relates very well to spirituality, that example.
Because, people misleading, right?
People misleading it.
Yeah, they think they know.
Yeah,
they've seen the truth.
Yeah.
But they're misleading everybody like that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Really dangerous.
And even the thing that makes it even worse is in their own mind, they may think it's the truth. But they could be convinced about it. No, this is the truth. But it's just completely in their mind, you know, and that's Maya entering our mind. So how can we prevent Maya entering our mind? Johnny's saying you have to remember Krishna. Yeah. And I would add to that, you have to remember Krishna according to the guidance and instructions of the spiritual master. You know, like Prabhupada said, you have to chant a minimum of 16 rounds a day. So you remember Krishna according to that, you know, and certain things, get up early in the morning, follow four related principles and like that. And but if you change that and make it 8 rounds a day or 4 rounds a day or 1 round a day or three regulated principles or 3.5 regulated principles or, you know, like that, then it's not going to go so well. So, you know, we have to we're protected as long as we strictly follow the spiritual master's instructions. And the spiritual master instructions are not anything else than Lord Chaitanya's instructions, which are not anything else than Krishna's instructions. They're the same instructions in what we call parampara, so it's passed through the successions. If we remain chaste, it's a good word for it, chaste to the instructions coming down through the parampara, then we're protected from Maya entering into our consciousness, entering our mind. If we don't, then you're on your own. And then Maya has a lot of fun with us, and we can read that how Maya gets into us in the end of the third chapter text. It's around 30, 39, around 3, 39, 40. like that, 41. Where Maya is, where in the form of lust or material desires. Yeah.
Yes, 40. The sense, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting place of this lust. Through this, them lust covered the real knowledge of the living entity and bewildered him.
Yeah. So if you look a bit earlier, it says in 37.
Yeah.
And 37 that what the greatest enemy in the world is. What do you know what the greatest enemy in the world is? Krishna says in this verse, the greatest enemy is lust. And that's lust is born of the mode of passion, and later it turns into wrath, which is in the mode of ignorance. And it's the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. So that's the number one enemy. And then in 39, Krishna says what the effects of this lust is. If you get affected by this lust, what the effect of the lust is. So what's the effect of the lust? Two effect. You're never satisfied. If you get affected by this lust, enemy of lust, you're never satisfied, and it burns like fire. So it's like a fire in your heart, so much anxiety, so much fear, so much tension, so many like stabbings in your heart. Fear, anxiety, loneliness, depression, so many things is burning in our heart. And the main fire is this fire of like birth and death and old age and disease. This is like the fire in the heart. So many anxieties. I'm becoming old. I'm getting the disease is there and death is there. My mother is suffering from some skin disease at the moment, and so much anxiety, so much fear. It's like a fire in her heart. It's very sad to see, others, going through this fire. And that's because of bodily identification. Also in Maya, we think we're the body. So all these things that, of course, are affecting the body. It doesn't affect the soul. But when we think we're the body, then when you've got disease, battering on the body, and we identify with that, there's so much anxiety, 24/7, anxiety and fear about all these things. So that's the effect is, these people never satisfied, right? They have $1 million, they want $2 million, they have a beautiful husband or wife, they want a different one, they have a good phone, they want another one, so never satisfied. And then this one, 40, then if you have an enemy, one thing you need to know if you have an enemy, like in wartime, right? There's an enemy, but you need to know where the enemy is, because how can you defend yourself against an enemy if you don't know where the enemy is? So first of all, you have to know where your enemy is. And then also, if required, you can attack your enemy. But in order to defend yourself or attack an enemy, you need to know where the enemy is. And that even works according, you could use that even in the example of a disease. If you have a disease, right, which is like an enemy, right? A disease is like an enemy in your body. You have to know where the enemy is, where the disease is, right? Like, isn't it Gulshan? You had a disease. And the first thing is, in order to fix that disease, Gulshan had to find out where it is. So it was in the bowel. So then when you locate where is the enemy, then you can attack it. And then it was attacked and now it's gone. So that Krishna is helping us in this text 40 to know where our enemy is. And it's pretty frightening because it's in our senses, which means your whole body, because the body is made up of senses, your eyes and your tongue and your nose and your ears and your hands and legs and everything. And then also it's in our mind. Oh my God. And then it's in our intelligence also. So that's the sitting place of this lust. And then what is it doing? Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. So this is the worst thing of this enemy of lust, that it makes us ignorant. It takes away our original knowledge. What does it mean by covers? Covers what knowledge? Covers the knowledge means covers the knowledge of what do you think is the knowledge that we used to have? that's been covered up?
It covers your intelligence, the intelligence. Like, if I look at a BMW passing by, and if I'm not intelligent enough, I might just think, how much the repair will be that, let's go in the showroom, what's the color is there? And then I sign that out dotted line and I pay next 5 years. That was my lust. But if I had intelligence to see and do my sums, I say, you know what? I've got Toyota Corolla is doing the same job as BMW and just pass through it like a gone.
Yeah.
If you have got intelligence, you can save. But then lusty desire, that's also car is a lust, gotta get a new model or things like that.
Yeah.
So your intelligence is very important, play a role in your recovery, stopping your lust, I guess. But,
yeah.
Intelligence.
No, I mean, that's one example, that's for sure. But what's the original knowledge of the soul that we had?
Body, that we're this.
What's that, Bhakti Mala?
That we're not the body, that we're the soul.
Yeah, so the original knowledge that we had is that we're the soul, and that the soul is the servant of Krishna, and that Krishna is our master. So the knowledge is that, like I said, is that we're the servant of Krishna. He's our master, we're his servant. So that's our knowledge, and the lust covers over that. And instead of remembering that we're Krishna's servant, instead we falsely think that we're an Indian, an Aussie, a Kiwi, a man, a woman, black or white, the material world is our home. So we're covered by all this illusory ideas. But our original knowledge of the soul and its relationship with God is covered over by this lust, which is that we're trying to enjoy. We think we're the enjoyer of this body and that we're enjoyer of this material world. So that's what the lust does. So this is the false ego teaming up with our materialistic mind and senses and intelligence, and completely deluding us, completely putting us in illusion. So this is why it's the number one enemy, because
that's a scenario. If I do have a couple of $1 million, and if I go and buy a Rolls Royce car, which is nothing wrong with that. I shouldn't be, because Toyota Corolla works fine, but because I do have money, I can buy the Ferrari.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the last? Like, I just feel like, I do have money. Why not? I can afford the Ferrari and the petrol and servicing. So is that the last? I'm buying the Ferrari, or not a last?
But so lust means if you have a desire to please your own senses, right? That's what lust is. So that desire to please our own senses is our enemy, because that desire is the very reason why we're in the material world in the first place, and why we stay in the material world life after life. Because as long as we have that desire to please our own senses, you're given another body, and then another body, and then another body, and another body.
It's like a good prasadam also, enjoy your senses. That's why you're having the rasgulla and gulab jamun and all.
True, but it won't have the same effect, because it's actually the prasadam is Krishna. So that rasgulla is Krishna, that halava is Krishna.
What happens if I take my Ferrari to the temple first, and then I buy brand new, and being offered, and then I can enjoy?
No, that's different, because you're not actually offering that Ferrari to Krishna. Krishna doesn't eat Ferraris. If he could eat the Ferrari. But then, I mean, if you use that Ferrari to go and distribute books, throughout Australia, if it was favorable to do that, that could be done. But if you drive the Ferrari to the casino or the pub or whatever, then it's completely Maya, it's completely lust. But if you use it in Krishna's service, that can be done. Or if you use it to pick up your guru from the airport and whatever like that. And because we're supposed to treat the guru as good as God. So one time the disciples picked up Prabhupada from the airport in a fancy limousine, and the reporter was very envious, very jealous, and said, I thought you were a spiritual person, so why are you traveling in this fancy car? And Prabhupada said, the Guru is the representative of God, so he should be treated exactly like God. So Krishna rides in a golden chariot. So he said, this car is not good enough. Actually, it's not good enough, but I'm accepting it. So Prabhupada turned it around, that, so we should respect the spiritual master and give him the same facility as we would God. So, I mean, if you have a fancy car and you use it to serve your guru and for preaching or whatever, that's very good. But, usually it's not going to be done for that. So then it's completely lust, just for our own enjoyment.
Or you could, like if you're using it for taking your friends to the temple, not rather than taking them to the pub. Or, I mean, then it's in Krishna's service, right? If you're picking all the people up and taking them to the temple.
But not once a year for Janmashtami. The other 364 days you're doing it to go to.
Also, okay, you bought the car for Krishna, and every Sunday you go to the temple, okay, using the car. But the rest of the time, or the consciousness with which you drive the car, oh, I'm driving whatever car he was talking about. I'm driving this car, and look, everybody's looking at me.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, oh, I'm driving this car, may Krishna always be protecting me, or I'm driving this car for Krishna, or whatever, like that. That consciousness also matters.
It's going to be more difficult because it is such a fancy car. You're probably going to be in anxiety that maybe someone might steal it or scratch it, or it's going to be in an accident or whatever. And so if it becomes a source of your anxiety and you're always thinking about it like that, so then it's not worth it. Why do that? It's just a source of anxiety.
As long as you're not attached to
if you could be not attached to it, which is going to be difficult. If you're a mature devotee, you can, but I'll tell you what, so generally a brahmana is rich or poor? Poor. Are brahmanas poor because they're just too dumb to know how to make money?
No, they only need what's required.
So is that intelligent or not? To take what only you require? Yeah, because if you take more than what you require, what's that going to do?
You're going to use for your pleasure.
Yep, and what's that going to do?
Then it's going to be, if you're thinking for your personal use or bodily concept or things, and then you'll become a lusty, and then
and like I said, remember, it's going to entangle you in what? Birth, another birth, old age, disease, and death, and another one. So you get entangled by that. So that's a brahmana is very intelligent. Brahmana means intelligent person. They understand the more I interact and deal with the material energy, the more entangled I get in it. So I want to minimize that. I want to have just enough money to live. I want to have just enough, facility, like a roof over my head just to live. I want to have just enough possessions to live, just enough food to live, because anything more than what you need can potentially entangle you.
Yeah, entangle you. Because if I've got my income, like if my expenditures are $500 a week, if I get $1,000, I'm looking to spend 500. Where I'm gonna spend it? Yeah. Should I go for things like that? That's if I get 500. Okay, my expenses are there. Thank you very much. Bye bye. If I get $1,000, then I start to think, okay, should I put that in my car or fancy thing in there, or should I get some more clothes, or should I get some more? Or you can save some of the rainy days, because sometimes tough time come in your life, you have to have some savings in there. It's Brahmana's way is to be whatever comes in Anjali. That's called the Anjali.
Yeah,
that's enough food for that in 2 hands.
Yes.
That's
it. It's better for a Krishna conscious person. Keep it simple, and that's why Prabhupada says simple living and high thinking, and that's my main way I'd like to help educate people, is in that, because it's the ideal way to live. Prabhupada gave that formula: simple living, high thinking. And it really excites me because I see that, yeah, it's the best way to live. And traditionally, that is the way that devotees would live. If you look at the 6 Goswamis, they just lived under a tree in that. Very simple. We're not telling people that now, but you have a decent house, but just don't make it too, elaborate and everything. Just keep it simple.
It is like,
And
yeah, I was telling that Kulvinder, he's got like, 1 petrol station, then 2, now he's got 3. And he's got a 1 property, 2nd property, and 3rd. I said, more you spend your rings out, less will be in the Krishna consciousness.
that's why he's wondering whether he has the time to chant 1 round a day.
Yeah,
Because his mind is so absorbed.
Spread out too many.
So we can chant 16 rounds because our life is simple. But if you make it complicated, there's no time for Krishna. And that's the main mantra of materialistic people in Kali Yuga. No time.
Yeah.
So why do they say no time? Because it's their life. It's become so, they've made their life. It's not like Maya's forcing them to do that, but they've chosen that. They've chosen that, to complicate their life. We have free choice as a human being. You can live simply or you can live complicated. And then once you make your choice, then you're going to get the result of that. If you take the complicated choice, your mind is going to be so disturbed. I have to look after this property and look after this car and this house and this mortgage. And we were talking with this one couple that were here, so much anxiety. They're talking about in their business, there's all this competition, competitors and everything competing with them, and their profits are going down, and how to pay the mortgage and this and that. They're having to balance so many things. It's like juggling. If you juggle one thing, one ball, that's easy, but try juggling 2 is harder. Then juggle 3 things, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all these people are like juggling, 50 balls. It's very difficult like that. So we only juggle 1 or 2, so it's okay. We can manage that. But yeah, the more things you have to juggle like that, then, it creates more. And then there's no time to think about Krishna because what's this mana? But there's no time to think about Krishna if you're, got all these things going on at the same time. Your intelligence and mind is just working around the clock. And then you get insomnia because you can't even sleep. All these materialistic people, they can't even sleep properly because they have so much anxiety about all these finances and all these things.
Was telling me that he can't sleep. Middle of night, he wake up, he can't sleep.
Yeah, that's right.
And this things like I said, look, more you spring out the wings, and then that's the thing. So you cut it down. Just wrap it up. You're 52. You're not younger anymore, and eventually you're gonna go older and older. Just wrap it up. You don't have to have a 3 investment property and 3 petrol stations, and you're thinking to buy 1 more. He was telling me, I'm looking at 1 more. And then I said, okay, I'm going. I left.
Yeah, and that's definitely lust, because what did we say lust does? It make you never satisfied. Yeah. So if someone's like that, I want another one, another one, another one. On one side, they're telling you, oh God, it's too much anxiety. And the other side, they just want more of it. So they're like running after anxiety. It's bad enough as anxiety coming to you, but even worse is if you going for the anxiety. It's like you're searching for it. Because that's what that verse is saying, right? You're never satisfied and it burns like fire. So that's what I mean, the anxiety, right? You're wanting more and more, but the things you want more and more of is creating the anxiety. That's the reason why you have the anxiety in the first place, because you're wanting more and more of the things that are causing you the suffering. So it's like,
reckon, if the Krishna will give me $2 million, and then I will be looking to spend some to invest in the investment property, or maybe purchase the business, or maybe do some cars or something like that, because $2 million I need to spend. If Krishna wants you to away from Krishna consciousness, if he gives some money, you just dragged. Is that possible?
Definitely possible, but it's not automatic. I mean, Prabhupada was he had control over millions and millions.
You can't compare me with the Prabhupada.
I know that, but I'm saying it's not automatic that money and material things is bad for you. Actually, our philosophy is called Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means real renunciation. And what that means is, it's not that real renunciation is not that you have to give up material things. That's what most people would think. Most transcendentalists think that detachment or renunciation means you have to give up material things. Our philosophy is different. The Yukta Vairagya means you use the material things, but you use it for Krishna. If it's available, you use it for Krishna. If it's not available, you don't need it. You can live without it. I can live without the Ferrari. But if someone gives me a Ferrari, I'll accept it and I'll use it for Krishna. That's the Krishna conscious philosophy. But I can live happily without a Ferrari. I can live under a tree and drive in a beaten up ute.
If somebody will give you the catering order and you take in the buckets in the Ferrari, can you imagine? And the person you got.
Yeah.
And
No,
you
I'd
deliver
prefer a
that.
nice big van if I was going to distribute
okay.
prasadam.
But
yeah, you could have a Mercedes van. What's that?
What is all this about cars lately?
Gulshan must be getting ready to buy a Ferrari. I think that's what he's.
No, I'll ask Ferrari if they make any van, because they don't make any van. They make only sports car. They only make sports car. I want to put a request to make it a van, so Abhicharan can have the Ferrari van to deliver the buckets of prasadam when he's got a catering order.
No, I was thinking he's already won his $2 million. I think that's why he's talking like this.
$2 million to spend.
And as
You
soon
know
as the
what?
class is over,
There
he's trying to get
was a-
ideas how to spend it after the class.
There was a real story. That one guy, he won the $2 million, but his friend says if you tell him, he might die with the shock of that he got $2 million. So his friend says that, mate, what happened if you do? Just imagine if you win $2 million. And what do you do? Means you didn't, but just imagine hypothetically. He said, I'll give you half to you. And the guy was saying he died.
Yeah. There's so many true stories about people's lives go completely mess after they win lotto. It's a proven fact.
Because unexpected money comes that, and they're back to the same place within 2 years.
Yeah.
They were,
if not worse, usually worse than where they were 2 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, if we want to be able to follow this formula of thinking of Krishna, becoming his devotee, worshipping him, and bowing down to him, then we need to keep our life simple as possible and not get victimized by this lust of sense gratification. Bhakti Mala's disappeared.
Yeah, she's got a bit of issues with the connection. I think she's
Yeah.
Is she at home?
Yeah, she's at home. Yeah, she's got a bit of a problem there.
Is she do some seva in the Bhakti tree as well sometimes?
She mentioned last week. She said she did on Thursday, but it should still be okay for that. Let's see if she turns up. Anyway, you can read this purport.
Yeah.
So we've read the first paragraph. So you start from there are some who are demoniac.
Okay. There are some who are demoniac. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle, he was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love. That is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna's consciousness. What is the favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal. Blissful knowledge, this kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless.
You just stop there for a sec. Okay. Stop there for a sec. Yes, of course, this verse is saying to to always think of Krishna. So Prabhupada's explaining more about that we should think about Krishna favorably with love. And he gives the example of Kamsa, that he was thinking about Krishna all the time, but how to kill Krishna. So that's not regarded as bhakti, even though he's always thinking of Krishna, which is what this verse says, but he was thinking in a negative way, how to kill Krishna. Bhakti Mala's coming back. Oh, you're back. That's good.
My phone overheated.
Are you charging it or something?
I was charging it while I was on it, and it was
it's not good to do that.
Overheated.
Yeah. Just to let you all know, ideally, you shouldn't be using the phone, especially in a very draining way, like you're using the videos and stuff like that, which takes a lot of power and charging at the same time. Even there have been cases of phones exploding.
Yeah,
if you're using it while it's charging.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You can put in the fridge, phone in the fridge, and then it'll cool it down, bring it down.
So be careful about that.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can be like a bomb, so be careful about that.
It has got a battery, yeah.
So just we always, when we're charging it, then we never use it when we're charging it. That's what we normally do. With a laptop, I think it's okay, but with a phone, then it's not very good to do that. Yeah, something to be aware of.
If an incident happens, the Samsung has been explored. The few incident happens, Samsung, but anyway.
Yeah. And the worst thing to do is you're charging it and you've got it next to your head, like talking to someone. You definitely don't want to be doing that. That's a no-no. Even generally, it's good just to have it on loudspeaker. Don't put it next to your head and keep it there and talk to someone for half an hour with it next to your head.
No good, yeah.
The radiation is so much, and we need our brains to think of Krishna, not to fry them with all this radiation. So what we've just done, Bhakti Mala, is we read that next paragraph, so paragraph 2, which talks about that we should think about Krishna, which is mentioned in this verse, to think of Krishna, but think of him favorably. And Prabhupada gives the example of Kamsa was always thinking about Krishna, but he thought about Krishna in a negative way to kill Krishna. So Prabhupada says that's not what's being talked about in this verse. That's not Krishna consciousness. That's not favorable. So it should be favorable to Krishna. So Prabhupada says we should think about Krishna with love, with devotion. Not that we hate Krishna and we want to kill Krishna. That's not Krishna consciousness, even though technically he is thinking about Krishna, which is good, but still it's not regarded as bhakti because he's thinking in an unfavorable way. So it should be in devotional love. And then Prabhupada says, so we should think of Krishna in a favorable way with love. And then Prabhupada says we should be thinking, we should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. So we should think of Krishna favorably with love and also all the time. So not just once a year on Krishna's birthday. Like a lot of Hindus, they'll think about Krishna on Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, and the rest of the year they probably don't think very much. But about Krishna. But in Bhakti, we want to be thinking about Krishna every day. We want to be thinking about him every day, not just on Sundays or once a year, but like all the time, every day, like that. And then he says, what is that favorable cultivation? And then he says it is to learn from a bona fide spiritual master. So, okay, you want to serve Krishna favorably. How do you know what Krishna wants? means you have to hear from Krishna what he wants. But then you're going to say, well, but Krishna's not here. Krishna's not here, so what's that?
His representative is here.
Exactly, that's the guru. So although I can't hear from Krishna now what he wants, but I can hear from his representative, the guru, what he wants. And then if you've heard from the guru, then you know what Krishna wants. And then it's favorable. There was one example given. One Indian man, he was very proud that before he ever drinks tea, he always puts tulsi in it. And he was thinking it's favorable because he knows that that tulsi is very dear to Krishna. But what he was doing, was that favorable to Krishna? No, because Krishna doesn't drink tea, and even more than that, that Krishna doesn't want his devotees to drink tea. But in his mind, he was thinking that this was very nice service to Krishna, to put tulsi in tea. But because he wasn't following a guru, then he's gone off track. So if we want to protect ourselves from going off track, which means doing things that Krishna doesn't want us to do, then we need to follow the guru. And that will make sure that we stay on track. And then if you do go off track, the guru will tell you, oh, excuse me, mate, you've gone off track. You have to turn back this way. You turn left, but you have to go straight.
Yeah, don't put the tulsi in the tea, but you can put in the coffee. And I just joking.
Yeah, so like that. So this is what it means, to our service to be favorable. We need to be following the footsteps of the parampara, the spiritual master, and that will protect us. Because I tell you, it's so easy to speculate, isn't it? Our mind loves it. Our mind, that's what the mind enjoys so much, is just concocting so many ideas. Prabhupada called it a fertile brain, fertile mind, speculation, concoction. So there's so many words: speculation, concoction, fertile brain, like that. So the mind loves that. It's like a monkey jumping here and there. We create so many things, and it takes us all over the place. But those things may not be what Krishna wants. We have to go with what Krishna wants, not with what our crazy mind. So that's a big part of devotional service, is we have to control the mind. Controlling that, and that's the essence. Prabhupada explains the fundamental purpose of yoga is to control the mind. Whether it's Hatha Yoga, Stanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, any kind of yoga, the foundation of it is to control the mind, whether it's through pressing your nose, doing the exercises, studying Vedanta and everything.
I think controlling your mind is not possible. Like, you can do anything, stand up or the head or the Shirshasana and this. Rather than controlling the mind nature is not to be controlled. So why not we just put mind towards the Krishna consciousness? We're not controlling, put the mind towards the Krishna consciousness.
Exactly. And then that is how in Bhakti Yoga we control the mind through
just move
through just being busy, through busy in Krishna's service.
Yeah, do some prasadam.
Because if we engage the mind in Krishna's service, then the mind can't be doing any nonsense.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't be doing any nonsense.
Because if you're trying to control it, Arjuna said that I can control the wind from
an
arrow, but cannot control the mind.
So those other methods of yoga are very difficult ways to control the mind, but Bhakti is the easiest. Because as soon as you just, the devotees say, okay, you clean Krishna's temple with a broom, you wash Krishna's pots, you cook Krishna's feast, then immediately it's controlled. Go to the kirtan. Like yesterday, we had such a nice kirtan. There's 2 other devotees were here, and we had such a nice kirtan, and we were so happy for 1 hour, just chanting and doing arati and chanting, and our mind was automatically fully with Krishna. fully with Krishna. And we were all in ecstasy. We were all in bliss.
They were talking about it in the car as well.
And even Jyoti said when they were going to the airport in the car, they were talking about it also. It just, the mind was completely captured by that kirtan. It just captures the mind. One of Krishna's names is fascinating. One of Krishna's names is Manohara. Manohara. Man means mind and har means steal.
Stealing.
So
Yeah.
Krishna's stealing our mind through this beautiful kirtan and chanting and everything. It just captures the mind. And beautiful Sham Sundar, like Gokulananda, is so beautiful. Even though we're far away physically, but still we remember Gokulananda is so, Radha Gokulananda is so beautiful. It's just capturing the mind. So your bhakti is the best way to control the mind. Best and
the easiest way, like, easy as well. Compared to other, you have to do asanas, yoga, and all that is easy and the best. Thing, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Okay, let's read the next one.
One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna. Primal, okay.
Primal means original form.
With conviction in his heart that Krishna is the supreme, he should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for worshipping of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisance to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and the chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society.
Yeah, you can stop there. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So it's saying here, so yeah, we're engaging our mind. How to engage the mind? So we're chanting with our tongue and hearing with our ears, but you can be also looking at the form of the deity. This is helping to control the mind, capture the mind, because all these senses are going into the mind. What you say, that goes into the mind. What you hear goes into the mind. What you see goes into the mind. What you smell goes into the mind. So the more senses you can engage, the more the mind can be captured. So you can be singing about Krishna while you're looking at Krishna and hearing those sounds as well. So that's all capturing the mind. And then Prabhupada's saying that form that we're concentrating our mind, ideally the original form, which is Krishna. So Krishna is the very original form, and second form is Balaram. Then from Balaram is expanding Sankarshan, and then you've got so many avatars, Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Kurama, like that. But Krishna is the original form. They're all God, Nrsimha is God, Rama is God, but they're not the original form. Krishna is the original form, and all the other forms come from there. Most Hindus say that Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu, but that's not correct. It's not correct. That Vishnu actually comes from Krishna. It's not that Krishna is an incarnation and avatar of Vishnu. It's the other way around, like that. But most see how they've got that wrong is because actually Krishna comes to the material world through that medium of Vishnu. So that's why they misunderstand, because all the incarnations of God that come from Vaikuntha to the material world, they come through, that's like a doorway. So through that medium of Vishnu, they're coming into the material world. So therefore they speculate that Krishna comes from Vishnu, but actually Krishna is the origin of Vishnu, like that.
Yeah, he's a Purna avatar.
Because he's existing before he comes into the world. Because that's another mistake they make. They think that, people think that Krishna's just a temporary form. But what Prabhupada says here also is that it's eternal, that Krishna's form is eternal. Did it say it here or it says it somewhere else? I think it said it. I think it said it here.
It's here, yeah. It's
I think it says somewhere that Krishna's form is eternal.
yes, it does say that.
Yeah. Yeah, it says it. Yeah, the primeval form.
Yeah.
Oh no, not primeval. No, where did it say eternal? I think it said somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's somewhere around here.
It's in last.
But yeah,
paragraph.
it's not what some people
It says
say
in the paragraph before, but it's eternal. His body is not material, but
it's not material, it's eternal.
For knowledge. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the mistake that people make. Some people is that they think that Krishna is just a temporary form coming from the eternal Brahman. But actually, Krishna's form is eternal. And temporarily he's come to the world, but he exists before he comes here and after he comes here. He exists in his original spiritual form. So yeah, that's the best. And then, so Prabhupada then talks about worshipping, because that's what this verse says. Think of me and then you worship me, become my devotee and worship me. So yeah, you worshipping that form in the temple. This is part of the process that Krishna's recommending. You're always thinking of him by chanting, and you're looking at the deity, and then you worship the deity. And then he brings in bowing down to the deity, because this verse also mentions bowing down, namaskaru. So it's very important that when we go to the temple, we can see that beautiful form of Krishna and then bow down to that form of Krishna. And if we do these things, chant Krishna's name, worship his form, and bow down to his form, then Krishna guarantees we can go back to Godhead. So it's very simple. Like Prabhupada said, even the children can bow down to the deity, you know. And that's a beautiful thing, that children naturally imitate their parents. So if the parents go to the temple and bow down, then automatically the children will just bow down, you know, imitating their parents. So, you know, it's so easy process. Anyone can bow down to the Lord. Anyone can look at the beautiful form of the deity and worship the deity, offer some flower. Like Krishna says in 9:26, if one offers me a leaf, a fruit, or flower, or water with love, I'll accept it. So that's worshiping Krishna. And even the poorest person can offer some water to the deity, offer a flower, a leaf, like a tulsi leaf to the deity, and anyone can just chant Hare Krishna and think of Krishna. And just by these simple activities, it's very effective in that we can, at the end of this life, go back to Godhead. You want to say anything about that, Gulshan?
No, it's all crystal clear.
Yeah.
Today, my Guru Maharaj was also saying about this even a baby they take to the temple and make it bow down. That is like in the temple of like if you take the baby to the Krishna temple.
So Jayanti is saying her Guru said that today in a class that in India, parents will take even their baby to the temple and put the baby on the floor, put the baby's head on the floor.
Yeah.
Which is, I was just seeing now Bhakti Mala hasn't reappeared. Okay, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
That's all right. But yeah, it's such a beautiful process. Everyone can take part. It's not just for only a few people.
I noticed that children doesn't listen, but they notice. If you tell them something, they don't listen, but they notice. What's a dad doing? What's a mom doing? They notice. But they don't listen, but they notice. If the dad and mom going down there, they say, okay, I have to. Because dad is doing that, mom is doing that. If we say that, bow down, we're forcing them to. But don't force it. You do it, and they will not do it today. Tomorrow they'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. So it's a big responsibility for the parents to teach the right things and expose them to the right things. Okay, let's read the last one.
The 7th and 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita has explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of a Lord like impersonal Brahmajyoti and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engaged in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personality take care of his pure devotee. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in material world. He will eventually receive the supreme reward of Krishna. That's end of Bhakti Vedanta purport, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in this matter of the most confidential knowledge.
Right. So yeah, Prabhupada's saying here that the devotee should focus on Krishna, and not even we should focus on other aspects of Krishna, which is the Brahman, the spiritual light, or the Paramatma in our hearts. Because of course, some people, that's their aim, is the Paramatma, the yogis. The yogis focus on Paramatma, the super soul, and the Gyanis, the mental speculators, they focus on Brahman. But the devotees focus on Bhagavan, on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's three features of God. God has got three aspects: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So like I said, you remember what I said? The yogis focus on
Paramatma.
Paramatma.
The Gyanis focus on
Bhagavan.
No.
It's in
Brahman. No, yogis are Brahman.
Brahman.
Jnanis are Brahman.
Gyanis focus on Brahman. Yogis focus on Paramatma.
Correct.
Bhaktas focus on Bhagavan. Right. So we should focus on Bhagavan. We should not focus on Brahman or Paramatma. We focus on Bhagavan.
If you say Krishna is the ocean, for example, but Ganga and Yamuna, they goes to the ocean as well.
Yeah.
So we should not bathe in Ganga because it's going to the ocean. Krishna is the ocean. Yamuna River.
That's not an analogy for what we're talking about.
Mental speculation.
You're saying just like the Ganges and Yamuna going to the ocean, but see, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are different aspects of the ocean. So that's a different thing. It's not leading to. They are. What the example you should use is the sunshine, the sun planet, and the sun god. Right. So the sun actually has three aspects to the sun. Three aspects to the sun. When you talk about the sun, what are you talking about? You're talking about the sunshine, which is everywhere. You're talking about the sun planet, which is localized in the sky. And you're talking about the sun god that controls it. So how is that an analogy to God? Because God also has three aspects. The Brahman, which is everywhere. So that is compared to the sunshine. And then Paramatma, which is localized. It means Paramatma has a form. So the sun planet has a form. And then the sun god is compared to Bhagavan, because the sun god is the one that controls the sun. So the same way, Krishna is the supreme controller. Without Krishna, you don't have Paramatma. Without Krishna, you don't have Brahman. Krishna is the source of everything. Like if you didn't have the sun god, there wouldn't be a sun planet, there wouldn't be sunshine. They all go together, but still, the controller is the most important aspect. But they're all connected, interconnected. You know what I mean? You can't have sunshine without a sun planet. You can't have a sun planet without a sun god. They're all together. They're all connected together. But you're saying about the Ganga and Yamuna leading to the river, that's different. This is not leading to, they're just different aspects of the same thing. But we focus on Krishna, just like, you'd focus on Vivishwan, the sun god, Suryadev, rather than the sunshine, like that. But it's not that we don't care about Brahman or Paramatma. They are also different aspects of God. But our main focus is Krishna. Our main focus is Krishna. But we still have an understanding of the Brahman and Paramatma. We know they're there. It's part of God. But that's our main focus. Because our relationship, our bhakti is with Krishna. You can't have a relationship with Brahman. And you can't have such a meaningful relationship with Paramatma even. The most meaningful relationship is with Krishna. And that's the bhakti rasa. There's a pleasure that comes from that relationship with Krishna. There's no pleasure out of Brahman. There's no relationship we can have there. So that's why we don't focus on Brahman or Paramatma, because the ultimate happiness and perfection for the soul is to have that loving relationship with Krishna. And that's what bhakti is all about. And then Prabhupada further says, so yeah, we shouldn't focus on Paramatma, we shouldn't focus on Brahman. Then he says we shouldn't focus on the demigods. In the beginning of the next paragraph, he says we shouldn't focus on the demigods. So we still respect Shiva and Ganesh and Durga and everything, but that's not our meditation. That's not what we're thinking about. We're thinking about Krishna, like that. And then Prabhupada summarizes some of the previous verses when he says, the devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall down from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who's engaged in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Personality of Godhead takes care of his pure devotees. So where does that sound familiar? If we remember from reading a few verses before, that's exactly Prabhupada has summarized text 30 and 31. So if we quickly look back at 30, 31, it's exactly what Prabhupada has summarized here.
Even if one commits the most
Abominable means
abominable
sinful.
action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in determination. Next one, he says, he quickly become righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare is bodily that my devotee never perish.
So why is it that out of the whole chapter, which is 34 verses, Prabhupada chose at the end of this paragraph to summarize just those two, 30 and 31? Why would that be? Because he didn't summarize the rest of it, like offering Krishna a leaf, a fruit, or flower, or water, or any of the other subjects in this chapter. Why did he bring up those two again?
Because these two relate to that.
Isn't that a massive concern in all of our minds?
Yeah.
That I might fall down and I might not be able to go back to Godhead, isn't it?
It's a very scary
thought. It's a scary thought that what if I don't make it? What if I don't go back to Godhead? Yeah. But Krishna says, Prabhupada's saying, reminding us what Krishna said again, don't worry. Krishna protects his devotees from falling down. I mean, I thought this is profound. I tell you, Prabhupada's brain, the more I think about Prabhupada's intelligence, it makes me realize he's just so brilliant. You can't begin to understand how intelligent Prabhupada is. He's picked out the essence of this chapter, which is what we're most worried about. What if I don't make it back to Godhead? What if I fall down? And Prabhupada's picked that up just to pacify our hearts, that don't worry, Krishna guarantees that he's going to protect his devotees from falling down. You will make it. He's so encouraging us that don't have any doubts. Krishna's promising here that he's going to protect you from falling down. You will make it. You will be successful.
Provided that you don't, like in another place in that purport, he does say, right, that it's not that you just keep doing.
Yeah, well, it says accidental.
Yeah.
You can't cheat and expect you're going to go back to God.
Yeah, you can't say, oh yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to rape this person, kill this person, steal from that person, and then chant Hare Krishna afterwards, and then I'll go back to Godhead.
Then
no, you can't be a cheater.
Seventh offense.
Yeah. No, but it says accidental. But we know, that we are sinful. We're so many faults. We're so imperfect. And we feel bad that, how can I go back to Godhead? Because I'm just a Kali Yuga, sinful person. And, how am I going to go back to Godhead? And we might lose enthusiasm. But Prabhupada's reminding us here what Krishna's saying, that even if you have done really bad things in the past and you think you're not qualified, but if you just, if you just stick to this path of devotional service, then you will go back to Godhead. So it's very encouraging what Krishna's saying, and Prabhupada's reminding us just to encourage us further that just stick to this path, and Krishna's going to protect you from falling away. So yeah, Krishna's so kind, and Prabhupada's so kind to remind us, again. But I found it quite very special that out of the whole chapter, Prabhupada realized these are the two most important verses for us, because they're giving us so much encouragement that even though we feel we're not qualified to go back to Godhead, but that Krishna's promised, and like he says that, in that 31, I think it was, that Krishna tells Arjuna, you declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish.
He'll never perish, yeah.
He'll never perish. So that's really, really touching, that how much Krishna loves his devotees, and how much his devotees, like Prabhupada, how much they really always so encouraging to us. And they have so much compassion for all the souls in the material world, and they're doing everything they can to encourage us to go back to Godhead. So, and Prabhupada's not exaggerating on what he's saying, because he's just repeating Krishna's words. But I just found that he picked out the two most important verses for us, which are very encouraging. That was my thoughts on the matter. And the last line is so nice. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. That's far out, isn't it? I mean, it's such a short sentence, but it's very powerful. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Wow. That's brilliant.
So
That's better, Gulshan, than a Lamborghini, mate.
I mean, it's a word of Krishna.
His headphones fell off when I said that.
Headphones. No, but
Yes.
I'm saying when you think of that Brihad Bhagavad where
Can you hear what?
saying
Yeah.
it's like where in that Brihad Bhagavatamrita book also how Krishna, when you go back, how Krishna comes running to you, you know, to welcome you. I mean, like the award of Krishna. You get the award of Krishna. That's what that statement said.
Yeah.
And Krishna is coming to receive you. Oh, I missed you so much.
Wow.
You know how crazy we are that we don't understand that, you know.
How much Krishna loves the soul, every
that's
soul.
right.
Wow.
That's right. It's what's his name? Sudama. When he went there, Krishna just get up and run to greet him to the door.
Yeah.
So it's like a that's what they're saying. That the whoever the assistant, he didn't even say the full word. He only says Sudama just Su, and then Krishna ran.
Wow.
He didn't even complete the word, and then Krishna ran to the door to greet him.
Wow. Yeah.
And then without his shoes or anything, and people looking that he was a king, you know, it's like, why he's going without shoes and all that, and his like whatever the clothes on there are falling on there, he was running to that, and everybody just looking. And then you know what, it's in the culture, like you have to wash the feet of the brahmana.
Yeah.
So they were thinking, okay, brahmana, they bring that a bowl of water and then before that water bowl arrived, Krishna washed his feet with his tears.
Wow. Yeah.
Because he was a brahmana. So yes, the brahmana coming, you have to wash the feet with the tears.
Well, no, more than that, because he was childhood friend.
Yes,
they were in Sandapani Muni's Gurukul together.
Right.
So they spent so much. They were very close friends, childhood friends. So this is his friend is coming.
Wow. It's like,
such a close friend. So we can all, but we are all those close friends of Krishna. But just we've left that. So when we come back, Krishna's so friendly with us right from step one. Because actually we are all old friends of Krishna, but temporarily we have divorced from that friendship. Yeah, but we can get back to that in a second. Like Jayanti said, as soon as you go back to the spiritual world, Krishna's running towards us.
That's right.
Yeah, because already that connection is there. It's just temporarily disconnected.
Yes.
Wow, it's so far out when you think about that. Yeah.
It is,
How much Krishna loves the devotees. And it's said of all of Krishna's 64 qualities, transcendental qualities, this is the best one, Bhakta Vatsala. He's so affectionate to his devotees, so affectionate.
Yeah, because
he'll do anything for the devotees.
Because he's Krishna can give you anything you want. You want, woman, or you want a big houses, cars, but doesn't give you bhakti that easily, because Krishna become a like a bhakta slave. You know, it's like if you bhakta there, if you walk, Krishna put the hand on the feet, on the ground before the bhakta walk. So Krishna become their devotee, bhakta's devotee. That's why bhakti getting is not that easy. Krishna doesn't give that easy to bhakti because he become a devotee of bhakta. So when the bhakta walk, he put the hand on the ground when he bhakta walk. So that's much love, bhakta and Krishna.
Yeah. Like it said when Bali Maharaj surrendered to Vamanadev, the dwarf incarnation Vamanadev, that Vamanadev was conquered by Bali Maharaj, offered his head for Vamanadev to step on. There was nowhere for him to put his third step. So Bali Maharaj said, you can put it on my head. And that's full surrender, complete Sharanam. And then after that, Vamanade gave Bali Maharaj the best place in the universe, Sutala Loka, to live in. Beautiful place. And then Vamanade became his doorkeeper, became his like servant, butler. The Vamanade became like his butler at the door. That's how much servant the Lord becomes to his devotee.
Yeah,
You surrender to me, I surrender to you completely.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's right.
And there's one deity in India, Jayanti will remember when I say, that he came to the door to see his devotee, and the devotee was serving his parents at the time.
Yeah.
So he came to the door and said, I'm busy now. Just wait here on this stone, on this brick.
On the brick.
And I finished serving my parents. And the deity just stood on Krishna stood on there.
Yeah. Pandurang Vittal.
Yeah, but the devotee's name was?
The devotee's name was Pundarik.
Pundarik.
Okay.
And there was that Panduranga that stood there? Yeah, Panduranga, Krishna.
Vittal.
He's there
Vittal,
standing with his hands on his waist, standing there, waiting for his devotee to come, so much humble servant of the devotees.
Yeah.
Like that. So the devotees become completely conquered by that.
But that person,
love,
that Pundarik was such a mean man. The history of him was that he was so. The history of this devotee Pundarik was that he had fallen into bad association. So because of bad association, he was treating his wife badly. He would treat his parents really badly. So it came to a stage that the parents were like they were old, but they were frustrated. And so they decided that they're just going to go for pilgrimage. So they left the house and went off. And one day he was with his friends and somewhere in the forest, but he kind of lost his way, and he came across a sage's ashram. And no, before that, what happens is no, sorry, he comes across the sage's ashram, and in that sage's ashram he sees that there are 3 dark ladies who are cleaning the ground outside the hut. Okay, the ashram hut. They're cleaning the ground, and once they finish cleaning the ground, their dark bodies become fair. They're very beautiful. They were very beautiful anyway, but the bodies become golden. They're very fair. So he is very enamored. Oh, wow, how did they turn so fair? So he goes running and he says, who are you people? And they're like, oh, stay away from us. You are such a sinner that you can't even, you shouldn't even come near us. You're that much of a sinner. So then he's like, no, please, what do you mean I'm a sinner? And they said, no, you treat your parents so badly, you treated everybody so badly, you don't even deserve a dip in our waters. And then they say, I'm Ganga, I'm Yamuna, I'm Saraswati. And they say, we don't come near us. So then that really wakes him up, and he thinks, oh, I'm such a sinner. I've done so much bad things, so I should do something to. So he really seeks their forgiveness, and he says, please tell me a way. What should I do? And they say, you have to go back and you have to seek forgiveness from your parents who have left the house. So then he goes back running home, and he takes his wife, and they go to look for the parents. And so that's how he becomes very dutiful. He eventually finds his parents, And from then on, he is very, very nice with them, and he takes care of them, and he becomes very devoted to Panduranga as well. So to such an extent that Panduranga ultimately arrives at his home. Like that. That's the story. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Very, very good.
Okay, well, that was
Okay.
awesome. That was nice. So many nice
Wonderful.
things came up today.
Yeah.
Pundarik only, because Pundarik was Pundarik with
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so the name was Pundalik, not Pundarik, Pundalik, L.
Pundalik.
Pundalik. But yeah, nice story. Thanks for sharing that, Jayanti.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hi, Krishna. Okay,
Thank you
take
very
care.
much.
See you.
Okay, bye.
Welcome.